vibrate, I would feel a sense of dread. I felt like I had been exposed to the world and I don't have anything that's safe to me anymore.
I had no idea how big it was, how messy it was going to get, or how many people were going to be affected.
You get that feeling in your stomach that something's not right, and it's kind of sickening.
No one really knew what to do. It was probably one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
My world was falling apart right in front of my eyes, and there was nothing I could do about it.
Good? My name is Miranda Watson. I grew up in Belmont, New Hampshire. Small town, everybody knows everyone. We grew up outside. A lot of hiking, a lot of biking trails. People are really trusting.
We were really fortunate to be surrounded by the Lakes Region area and all the mountains. It's beautiful here. We were always on a sports field, basketball court, and it felt safe.
I went to Belmont High. We definitely had, like, the mean girls. There has been times where I got put in that category. I was just friends with a lot of people.
I grew up in Belmont. You know, been there kindergarten through 12th grade. This is me in 2012 when I was 17. And sports were pretty much my life. I spent a lot of time with the athletes. I was a part of that clique, I suppose. In Belmont, I feel we had a lot of labels. You had the jocks or the athletes, and you had not so much nerds, but, you know, the computer geeks.
And you kind of had these people, they weren't like the outcasts, but they also, I feel like maybe they didn't know where to fit in.
I think in any high school, really, but specifically in Belmont, we weren't very nice to each other. I'm Brittany. I grew up in New Hampton, New Hampshire. This is me. I was 17 at the time, and that was at Newfound Regional High School. When I was 10 years old, my dad passed away. It was really hard losing my dad because I was only a child, and it was extra hard because he was my best friend. So I've been living with my grandparents and my mom off and on basically my whole life. My grandmother ended up passing away in 2015, so now it's just me and my grandfather. Hi, Grandpa.
Hi.
It's time for your medicine. We take care of each other. How you feeling today? Are you shaky? We're basically like two peas in a pod. Okay, I love you.
Love you.
Mwah. Growing up in a small town, when there wasn't much to do, we would get online and talk to our friends and meet new people.
Facebook was new. Everyone wanted to have the most friends. It was kind of like a goal that us high schoolers had at the time. So it wasn't unusual to add random people on Facebook at the time.
I had to do a lot with the likes. How many likes can you get on this certain picture? And that kind of tells you how popular you are. There's this pressure to keep up your Facebook. Don't let it get stale. Keep posting statuses, keep posting pictures. I was posting basically everything. My phone number was online, everything for the whole world to know. One day I got a message to my phone from a person calling himself James McRowe. He was just asking me questions like, where do I live? What do I like to do in my free time? I just figured somebody wanted to be friends. They took time out of their day to ask about me, which was different. Being in a place where I've known everybody since kindergarten, nobody really asked anything about you because they already really knew all the answers. So it was a little flirty in the beginning.
It was nothing at first. It was just a Facebook request. The name at the time was Seth Williams. Everyone confirms everyone at that point. So I added him, and he messaged me first, just saying hi, like very normal. He starts asking me things. Of course, I kind of give him a flirty answer back. And then things just started to get weird.
I was 17 when everything started. The first time he messaged me, I didn't know who it was. Tried asking who this was, and he said, well, I'm Seth Williams. And it felt very uneasy, recognizing that this probably wasn't somebody that I knew on the other end. And when he was ignored, he would send more text messages, one after the next.
The innocence only lasted a few messages before I felt pretty uncomfortable. And then from there, it turned into him asking me my cup size, which I was very, taken back on.
He would ask me if I liked doing things in bed with people and positions and getting very detail-y about a lot of things that I didn't really feel comfortable answering.
He would start asking for some pictures. Just my face first, kind of be friendly and encourage me to be comfortable with doing that. And then it was more explicit photos he wanted. This was the first time that anybody has ever asked me to send naked pictures.
It turned into him asking about photos that everyone can see on my Facebook. He tells me how he had saved all of those photos, telling me how he masturbates to them, and that went to him asking me for photos of my is what he said. I started feeling uncomfortable and creeped out.
What went through my mind was, this isn't right. This isn't something I'm supposed to do as a teenager. You know, there are so many things that could happen. Your reputation could get ruined. I really didn't know who I was talking to. In the fall, I went to a football game at Laconia High School. At that game, I got a text from him saying that he sees me there. You know, I kind of had to stop in my tracks for a minute. You get that feeling in your stomach that something's not right, and it's kind of this gut feeling, but it's kind of sickening. Knowing that that person was there and having no idea who he was, no idea how he knew you were going to be there. You know, you question, is he following me home? It gets to you. And I didn't feel safe. feel comfortable going to my parents. I felt ashamed in some ways to tell them that somebody is asking me for these pictures. As girls, to express that you're being targeted or you're being harassed. In Belmont, you would just get a lot of backlash for it. Someone to say, well, don't be such an attention seeker, and they don't understand how hard that actually is for you as the person experiencing it. It was very relentless. I would get text messages, one after the other. The text messages got very graphic. Every time I heard a ping or my phone vibrate, I would feel a sense of dread. I didn't think it would stop.
One day I got a message from a friend of mine, and she asked me what was all about the message that I sent her. And I asked her, well, what message? I don't think I sent you any messages. I go to log on to my Facebook account, and I can't get in. It says I have the wrong password. So I rewrite my password, and rewrite my password, and rewrite my password, and I can't get in. I instantly froze. I started shaking. I'm like, what's going on?
I tried to get onto my own Facebook, and I was logged out, which was a little weird to me, and that's when it led to my friends reaching out to me and telling me that my Facebook page was making statuses saying I was hacked. And that's when we found out it was Seth. My feelings started to change to anger and confusion as to why he keeps coming after me.
I was laying in bed one night when I received a message from him saying that if I were to send him naked pictures, he would stop everything that he was doing. And he would want what he wanted right then and there. He never stopped.
I had been accepted into Hassan University, and I had an email all set up. On there you have access to professors and the other students that are attending. He would threaten me. So if I didn't send pictures of my boobs to him by a certain time, he would hack into my college accounts. I haven't even gone to school yet, and he might ruin that for me. You just kind of lose hope at that point. I had no control.
It was just going on for months too long. It was a battle that I kind of found out that I probably wasn't going to win if I didn't get help. And that's when I met with Detective Moulton.
(205-200). Hi, this is Detective Rachel Moulton, the Belmont Police. We're clear, Laconia, if you could just call and let them know. When all of this started, I was the only detective working within the police department. This was not something that our police department was prepared for. More and more young ladies would come in and tell me their story. Whoever was doing this was using different names. Seth Williams, Seth Banks, James McRowe. This person could hide their identity by using any name they wanted to. Many of these girls tried to deal with it on their own for months and were extremely upset, crying, scared to go home. Maybe things in here that I can't show on camera, so hold on. There are pictures of the girls throughout. Some of them complied, sent nude photos, thinking that he would go away.
In class, I happened to stumble upon a girl crying, and she explained to me how she had met this guy online, and his name was Seth Williams, and that they had gotten close, and she had sent him nude photos. and it turned into him talking about how he was going to release the nude photos. I was shocked, just kind of like, oh my god. And I realized how big of a web he really had made with all of these girls just through the internet.
There was a lot of unknowns. It seemed to me like I wasn't going to be able to figure this out. There's always a possibility of rings of people that work together to get nude photos of young women. There were different cell phone numbers that were being used, and they were out of state across the country. We start by calling the numbers. And they came back to nothing. It was just dead air.
I ended up going to the police, but I was told that it's gonna take a while for them to find out who this person is. I instantly felt hopeless. I definitely felt like I was being watched wherever I went. It was a very frightening feeling. It definitely changed the way that I went about my everyday life. I wasn't hanging out with friends anymore because I was figuring he knew where I was, and I just wanted to stay home where I knew it was safe. One day I got a text message from James McRowe saying that something was on its way to my house and that I should be watching for it. I was instantly afraid, and I was thinking, now he knows where I live, he has my address. I received a knock at the door, and I didn't know who it was. I was afraid that he was outside my house. Somebody you don't even know that has been threatening to harm you could be right outside my door right now. So I was at home when I received a knock at the door. I was so afraid, and I was very scared. What's gonna happen? It was the postman, and he had a package for me. And I came inside, and my heart is racing. And I'm like, what could this possibly be? And I decide, now is the time. I've got to open this package and see what he sent me. Found that he had sent me a vibrator, and my heart dropped. I immediately felt disgust. Right then and there, I got a text message to my phone. He wanted me to take a video of myself using it and send it to him. It clicked into my head that this person that was asking all these questions of me, those are my security questions. And he was able to get onto my Amazon account where I had my address. I figured if he can do all this, what more can he do? He's getting closer and closer to me and closer to my home. This is my grandfather's home, and he didn't ask for any of this to happen. Neither did I. I have a very big problem here, and I need to figure out right now how I can fix this.
Seth hacked my Facebook again, and he started threatening again and continued telling me how if I send him nude photos, he'll give me my password, and I just wanted it to end.
Miranda Watson came down to the police department. She allowed me to take control over her phone.
I gave her my phone, and I said, do what you want.
I needed to find out, where is this person? My goal was to find out if he was local. So I simply asked him, would you be willing to meet me at the Arch? The Arch is a place that only people that live here know about.
If you're a teenager, this is where you do prom photos. This is where, you just have your meetups with your friends or your boyfriend or girlfriend. We were just trying to give him what he wanted to lure him in to come here and meet up with me. I was scared and freaked out about the thought of having to sit at a bench and wait for this person that I didn't actually know who was to show up and come up to me.
Him telling me that he had no idea what the Arch is told me that he was not from this area.
So because of that, we weren't able to get him here and meet up, so we knew we weren't really going to be able to catch him. We knew he was lying, or he just really wasn't from the area.
I can remember that I just slumped back in the chair. It was disappointing, and it was a setback.
It turned into him talking about how he is going to send me nude photos of other girls until I send him nude photos of myself. I received multiple nude photos of other girls that I know and I went to high school with.
I do remember receiving a picture of another girl. A little bit of her face was there, and I could just tell by her body type who it was. The image was very graphic. It was of her genitals, and she was kind of sitting down in sorry, it's really uncomfortable to talk about and to say. Sorry, I think I need a minute. I didn't think it would, hit me this hard, It's been a long time. It was awful. I felt so awful for her.
I took photos of these young ladies' cell phones. Many times I had to go over all that information and just look and see if there was anything that I missed. I noticed at the bottom of the girls' text messages that they would state, this was a text message from Text Free, run by a company called Pinger. It allowed the user to make up a telephone number. Pinger provided an Apple UDID number that told me that this person was using an Apple device. This could be the key to help us put the pieces of the puzzle together.
After that football game in Laconia and after being hacked, I definitely felt like I couldn't trust a lot of people because it could be someone that I know. He got under my skin, knowing that he was right there and I had no idea who he was. I did feel watched a lot of the time, and I just felt I always had to look over my shoulder and, felt on edge.
I didn't want to leave the house because I figured he could be right outside my door right now. He could be at my work, he could be at my school. I was definitely afraid. I didn't know who this person was or where they were or what he was capable of.
It was extremely frustrating. I had more victims coming into the police department to report that they were being harassed and victimized by this person. One young lady reported that Seth was aware where she worked. She was at work, came out to her car and found out that it was broken into. This young lady was afraid and very upset. Just when we thought that he had done all he was going to do, he continued to step it up that much more, to the point where there was a fear that someone could have been abducted.
There's a lot of places to hide where I live, like there's woods, and so at nighttime, if I heard any little noise outside, I would start shaking, and I was thinking this could be him creeping closer to the house. He could be sneaking up to my bedroom window. So I was afraid, and I actually ended up going out, and I bought myself a weapon. Because now I know he's not bluffing. He really does know where I live. I just wanted to be ready. I didn't really want it to have to come to this, but I felt like I had no other option.
When I received the response to the subpoena that I sent to Apple, the registered owner of the device was actually a victim, which didn't make sense to me. But I also realized that whoever was doing this could hide their identity by using different names. I continued to look through the paperwork. I then saw the mailing address for this device was in the name of Ryan Valley. This was a new name to this case. I started with going to the Belmont High School to see if he was a student. A lot of victims that I had spoken with had a connection to the school. And I learned that he was 18 years old and did attend Belmont High School, that he had graduated with the victims. This was a huge breakthrough for us. One of the addresses that I was able to get was where Ryan Valley was living at with his father in Laconia. It was something that I had to check out. As we start to go down the hill here, we're entering Laconia. This is the address where I was notified that Ryan Valley potentially lived with his father. When I arrived here, I found that the house was under heavy construction and there was no one living here. It was disappointing. Where is this person? It started to get out of hand, and it continued to come in faster and faster. We had 26 young ladies come in to report, and it was overwhelming. We didn't have the manpower to deal with the complex nature of this investigation. And that's when we thankfully were linked up with the Secret Service.
A lot of people know us for protection, the vice president, the president, etc. But our other major mission is investigations. This person was an online predator, feeding off the power and the control he had off these victims. But what is the next level of high? All the girls always had this constant fear that this person was going to come out of the woods on them and actually do an overt act, or he had that potential. In one case, a girl actually said she didn't want to go on living anymore and was suicidal. based off everything we were facing, we had to make a decision. And the decision was made at that time to arrest Ryan Valley and bring him in. In that interview, it was one of the most awkward I've ever sat through. It was like he wasn't there.
The whole time he did not give us any sort of eye contact, and he continued to rub his legs vigorously back and forth as though he was taking a shower in the chair.
Valley, during the interview, never admitted guilt, never confessed.
He would only state that he had nothing to say because he didn't know what we were talking about. The Secret Service agent looked through Ryan Valley's cell phone and found that his whole cell phone was wiped.
Valley was ordered to turn over all laptops and any devices to us. After the arrest, for a period of time, we had nothing online. So he had the right guy, because this arrest had done its job. It had stopped the immediate threat. No more victim contacts, no more sextortion cases popping up, no more new victims. Everything kind of ceased. We have his communication devices, and he's been ordered not to be online. So we had to look at, how is this still possible? What is going on? It also required bringing in very technical agents like Agent Matt O'Neill.
And so I was brought in to try to identify who was responsible. One of my specialties is doing online undercover investigations. So in this case, I took over the identity and the account of the female that he was stalking. By communicating with the predator on Facebook on a regular basis, that allowed us to see where he was logging in from. Very quickly, we recognized that this predator would log in from publicly available internet connections all around the Lakes region of New Hampshire.
We started getting additional IP addresses to Guilford, New Hampshire, a couple miles from Belmont, to a condo complex. And this was unknown to us.
At the time, we didn't have any understanding as to why that would be an important piece or who would be logging in from there. And so that required us to conduct surveillance at this large apartment complex.
And lo and behold, Valley comes out of one of the addresses.
It was a big development. One of the challenges in any cyber investigation is to defeat what one of the prosecutors used to call the SODI defense. Some other dude did it. But when we have, in this case, Ryan Valley, at the IP address that was being used to communicate and cyberstalk, then we knew that we had enough incriminating evidence that would lead to a conviction.
We follow Ryan driving his mother's vehicle. So we pulled up behind him, but we knew we wanted to get Valley into custody. And considering it was a red light and the fact that Ryan Valley had never been violent, we thought it was safe to do so. We approached the vehicle, weapons drawn. He then proceeded to scream, "No, no, no, no." I reached in to grab him, forcefully remove him from the vehicle, to no avail. He was able to somehow get it back in gear, and he drove away, actually dragging another agent on the other side of the vehicle. And at that point, I knew that this had taken a much different turn than what we had planned. And within moments, he was gone. We pulled up behind Valley. It was a red light. the decision was made to arrest him right then and there.
I was informed by the sergeant to be in the area with a marked patrol car in case anything was to happen, at which time I observed Mr. Valet accelerate at a high rate of speed from the traffic stop, and I was able to take pursuit after Mr. Valet. His speeds were 55 to 60 miles per hour while traveling down this 30-mile-an-hour zone. Mr. Valet then drove into oncoming traffic with no regard for human life. And that's when Mr. Valet made a right-hand turn. I knew that this was a dead end and there was no way he was going to be able to get out of here. I immediately exited my vehicle. I drew my firearm, at which time Mr. Valet hesitated, and I didn't know if there was a weapon inside of the vehicle, what he was doing. I'm able to prone him out right over here in this parking spot. I had Mr. Valet at gunpoint, and he's yelling at me to put my gun out of his face. Stop pointing your gun at me, stop pointing your gun at me. I have his hands as far away from his body as it can be, and his legs are spread out. Moments later, I had additional units arrive, and we were able to take Mr. Valet into custody without further incident.
After Ryan Valet was arrested, in the car was a backpack. So in the backpack, there was a Nintendo DS case. And then inside the case was a smartphone. We found evidence that he was looking at child pornography and that he was searching tips on how to be a fugitive in the winter.
In that Palm Pilot, we found our victim's photos, starting all the way to the beginning. It was the smoking gun for this case.
When I found out that he was arrested, a 1,000-pound boulder was lifted off my chest. I felt so good. I'm like, I get my life back.
His mom used to babysit me when we were younger. In the summer, we would be together every day. I was shocked.
Ryan Valet had spent a little time with me at my school. I do remember him sitting in the back of the class and being very quiet and sticking to himself.
It was kind of unbelievable to know that it was someone in my class that I've grown up with since kindergarten. And I look back at old pictures and he was always there. It's kind of creepy to see someone and not know who they really are deep down. What darkness did he have to endure to want to do something like this?
Don't let a quiet, happy town fool you into thinking that there isn't any dark secrets. I knew Ryan Valet since technically before school. When I found out about what he did, it was an absolute punch to the gut. I just couldn't believe the disgusting act. Why did he do this? I think it was 110% due to feeling powerless, and he wanted that power back. In high school, Ryan was bullied from 10th grade until graduation. The most vivid image for me was when he showed up at my house covered in Sharpie with all different drawings on him that they did to him after drugging him to fall asleep. I think the amount that Ryan was bullied by these kids, it released something in his head of a darker Ryan that no one would have known, no one would have saw. I was completely mortified that a close friend of mine would go around and do something so disgusting, so despicable, and it's gonna haunt me for the rest of my life.
This is one of those cases that will stay with me for a lifetime. So many young people were involved, all at the hands of one person, and so many lives touched forever and changed.
I'm telling my story because I don't want other people to go through what I had to go through. The amount of pain and hurt that you feel and how uncomfortable and sickening some of this can be. Teenagers should not be extorted.
But if there's somebody out there that's demanding you do things, you don't have to listen to them. You don't have to send that picture. You don't have to do it. It's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. There are people that care. There are people that are out there that are willing to help you.
Social media for young girls is the biggest place to get in trouble or get into danger or be threatened. It is a really scary place. Probably the most important thing is to get help and report it. We were able to do something about it, and each of us had a voice.